A lot of my dreams that I had, I mean, they're kind of fuzzy now, but I do remember a lot of it. I was on some kind of vacation in like a very white sand beach area. I don't remember what I was doing. For about a solid week, I thought that I was in the middle of Iraq in a bunker. Because most people, they'll do like the stare, and then they'll see that you're looking at them, so then they look away like they never looked in the first place, They're like, oh, I was looking over here the whole time. The last thing I remember would be carving pumpkins with my neighbors. It took me a while to even remember that. I didn't really remember that until they started telling me about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, we were carving pumpkins. I've thought a lot about, how precise that timing had to have been. Because I would think like, oh man, if I would have left 5 minutes sooner, if I would have been running 5 minutes more late, the whole thing could have been avoided and I wouldn't even thought any different of that day.
A Border Patrol agent is in the hospital after a wrong-way driver crashed into the agent on a local freeway. That driver is now behind bars. It happened in Chula Vista, just north of the E Street exit on Interstate 5 last night.
There was a wrong-way driver traveling on the State Route 905, and he was traveling westbound in the eastbound lanes.
I don't really remember any of it, but from what I've told, he later claimed that he was literally trying to hit people. And I woke up about a month later. I found out once I had finally started coming out of it and starting to gain, being conscious and aware, just laying in bed, and I reached down to scratch my knee because it itched, and there was no need to be scratched. And so that's where it kind of hit me. I just kind of froze and looked at my dad, and he was like, "You didn't know?" I'm like, "No." I probably just can't remember it just because of the trauma of it, just your brain just shuts down. They tried for a while trying to save my leg, but it was just bleeding so much they ended up having to remove it just to keep me from bleeding to death. And I had both my lungs collapsed, so I had 2 chest tubes. I had my spleen removed because it had burst in the impact. And I also had a torn aorta, for which I now have a stent in. They were able to get that all patched up. My main artery there going into your arm, it had burst or ripped or something, and there was a lot of bleeding there. So it caused a lot of internal bruising, and all the bruising in my shoulder stretched out all the nerves, so it pretty much knocked out all the nerves to my arm. My friends did give me a new nickname of Superman, because I did fly 88.5 feet from the point of impact to where my body was. There was a 88.5-foot trail of blood/fluids.
Luke lost his leg and the use of his left arm, but he also lost his memory of the entire incident. He seems to be doing well, even great. He's happy. Maybe that's because he just woke up like this. There was no drawn-out process, no dramatic goodbye. He probably knows that he'd be a pretty different person if he remembered the headlights, the pavement, that he asked the paramedics at the scene to call his mom. His family wrote a blog about the whole thing while he was in a coma, but he can't bring himself to read it.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to read it, but yeah. It's just reading it and telling how hurt and afraid and scared everybody else was, that's kind of like, it was too emotional, I guess. I didn't really want to read it.
Since we talked to Luke, he made the hard decision to amputate his left arm. And it seems losing the arm and leg were a tragedy, but losing the memory was almost a gift.
I don't know, because you look at it, even like the worst of your days, once it's over, it's over. You still have a whole nother day after that, so. I figure, once you hit rock bottom, you can only go up from there, so at least the worst is behind you.